Hey dancers, welcome back to our channel. I'm Julie and I'm the owner and one of the instructors here at Broche Ballet, a ballet school just for adults in Denver, Colorado. Today I want to talk to you about warming up. So I love a good follow along as much as the next person, and I do have a warm up follow along on our channel, but what if you don't have YouTube with you? What if you're in class? What if you're in a hotel? What if you're anywhere and you want to warm up your body, but you don't have a follow along that you can access? I want to help you understand what we're trying to do when we warm up, why we warm up, and what are some key things that you can take with you so that wherever you are, you can figure out your own warm up. Before we get started, dancers, if you are having fun with us, please do make sure you like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. It really does help us out. All right, so let's get started. Let's talk about why we warm up in the first place. So a couple of things. We want to, number one, actually elevate the temperature of our body. So if we come in, especially when the weather is cooler, we come in, our body's actually colder, our temperature is cold. You can feel how cold your fingers are, you can feel how cold your toes are, and you want to actually raise that temperature. The reason is that everything in your body is cold. Your tendons are cold, your muscles are cold, your joints are cold. Things don't move as well when they're cold, so you actually want everything to be heated up. The second big thing is we want to warm up very specific muscles. So if a muscle already has a lot of blood flowing to it, it's more likely to do work for you. So for example, for me, a big thing that I struggle with is my posture. So my low back often kind of sways, and then this gives me a lot of pain in my low back. So I like to think about warming up my core and my lower abs so that they're more likely to just do work on their own. And I can really feel it after a long day, or if it's cold, if these muscles are just not doing anything, how much it hurts my low back. So I like to think about warming them up, aka like priming them to do the work. So warming up is like physically warming the temperature, like being in front of a fire, right? Like warming the temperature of your body. And then also I like to think about warming up as like priming the muscle, getting it in the mood, getting it used to working so that it'll be more likely to get that work done for you. Kind of sending the blood there, the signals there to just wake it up and tell it, hey, it's time to get to work. So I like to think about those two kinds of things that we're trying to do when we warm up. There's so many other things you can do, but for simplicity, I really want this to be something you can take with you wherever you are. So for simplicity, we're going to leave it with those two things. We're going to think about elevating your body temperature and warming up super specific muscles, getting them primed for class or whatever motion you're about to do. So let's get started. Let's start with just taking inventory of the body. So what does it mean to take inventory? And notice that this is a skill just like everything else. It's almost like meditation, where you're going to really focus your energy internally, think about your body, feel how it feels, and really think about what you need to warm up. So how I like to take inventory, I like to start nice and slow. I like to start with some head circles and think, oh boy, that's real tight there. I must have slept kind of funny last night. Oh, it doesn't feel so bad back there. It feels kind of loose. Really get specific about your body and what's feeling good and what's not feeling good. Then maybe I'll go a little bit more with the body, kind of take inventory. Oh, that's a little tight right there. I can feel that. Really move around a little bit more and see, oh, right back there in the low back is a little bit tight, maybe because I was working on cumbre yesterday. Maybe circle a little bit more, add in some rolls in the shoulders, maybe even try to twist side to side. You'll notice I'm not moving fast. I'm not doing anything quick or really speedy. I'm just sort of moving slow to take inventory of what's going on. Now I've got a kind of good idea. I know that my neck is real tight going to the front. I know that my low back, especially on the right side, is a little bit cranky. Now I'm going to start with some bends in my legs and see what's going on there. Oof, feeling some tightness in the Achilles, especially on this side. That ankle doesn't feel like it wants to bend. It feels a little bit locked up in that ankle, like it doesn't want to go as far as it would normally go. Got a little bit of pain in that left knee. Got a little bit of a pinprick under the kneecap. Sometimes I get that when my leg is a little bit weaker and the outside of the leg hasn't really been warmed up yet. Then my knee will just sort of track inwards instead of staying outwards. So maybe I need to think about that. But otherwise feels pretty good. Maybe try some movements in second position. See what's going on with those hips. Not too bad today. See how the hip flexors feel. Maybe even touch with your fingers and see if you can find anything that might be tender in your body. Maybe try some ankle circles. See what's going on. My ankles feel okay. They're just really stiff. They don't feel like they want to move. Could be because I wore boots to the studio this morning. Could be just because it's cold and my toes are a little bit cold still. There's not much blood down there. So after taking inventory of what's going on, I have an idea of where my body's at. Nothing seems alarming, nothing seems super painful, although if it did, you might want to take a closer look at that and make sure that you're not doing anything too dangerous or strenuous for any pain you've got going on. So just need general warming up of the body and maybe a couple of little things to help with warming up so that my knee doesn't hurt as much, and maybe with my core so that my back doesn't hurt as much. So I like to think about the first big thing, right? We talked about elevating the body temperature. So I like to think about big, slow movements. We want to think about getting those big muscles in the body working. So big muscles like the quads, maybe the hamstrings, maybe the back muscles. Those are all really big muscles, and we want to start getting those moving. When those big muscles move, it really helps get the blood flowing. Even if it's just like statically holding in positions, it helps get the blood pumping to feed those big muscles. So you don't have to worry about jumping to get the blood flowing. And personally, I really don't like to jump to get myself warmed up because my tendons are pretty delicate down there. I've got some cranky Achilles tendons and some on this left foot as well. So I don't like to jump before those Achilles tendons are warmed up. So I think more like I like to do ground pliés in second to feel things start getting warmed up. Now I'm not talking about like perfect technique ground plié with those knees pressing back as far as they can go. I'm talking about like leg toes at a comfortable diagonal and doing some squats, making sure that my knees are really tracking over my toes. I'll maybe do about 10 of these and start warming up the body. Maybe as I'm going down, I'll kind of go down and maybe sit side to side, kind of see what's going on with my body. Really starting to feel some motion and moving. Maybe at the end of 10, I'll just kind of hold there for a while, maybe a couple of tiny little pulses at the bottom. I really already start to feel some warmth flowing through my body. So these big muscles, these big quads, these big glutes, they really start help getting you warmed up. Other kinds of things I like to do to get the big muscles flowing is just curling down and back up. This helps get the hamstrings firing as well as the upper back. So just tucking the chin and go all the way down. Don't want to stay there for too long. My hamstrings aren't really warm enough to stretch. And then come back up. And then down and back up. Maybe I'll do 5 or 10 of these. Maybe I'll go side to side in between, get some action going on in those obliques, get the body working. So kind of forward and back. Maybe I'll hang for just a sec, shake the head out, get the body working, curling down and up. So those are a couple of big movements you can do to really start getting the blood flowing. If you're feeling adventurous, sometimes I also like to even do push-ups. That can help get the chest going, and also for me, since they're really hard, it also just helps get the cardio going as well because the push-ups are really hard. But if push-ups aren't your thing, feel free to stick to some big squat motions, maybe even some lunges if you like lunges to help get the glutes and the quads firing. Maybe try some of those as well. If you're in ballet class, you can hold onto the bar to help you with balance. So big movements with the legs, and then big movements with the spine and the back to help you get some blood moving in the body and get those joints, get some lubrication going on. So the second thing I talked about was now that our body temperature is elevated, to warm up ballet-specific muscles. So when we think about ballet-specific muscles, again, I want simplicity here because I want you to be able to remember this stuff and take it with you. I like to think about 4 big things. I like to think about starting from the top. I like to start thinking about the upper back, the core, turnout muscles, and ankles. So I like to think about a couple of things that are going to help work that. So I'm not going to give you too many super specific exercises today. Go check out my warm-up for that. What I want you to know today is generally how to work these muscles with a couple of examples so you can understand how to create your own in case you can't remember all the super specific stuff that I tell you today. So generally we're thinking about how to work the upper back, how to work the core, the turnout muscles, and the ankles. So upper back can be a little hard to find. So we want to think about, for your upper back, these muscles across the back, all the way across, maybe all the way down to about here. You want to think about trying to get those muscles warmed up. So we can think about this a couple of different ways. The easiest way I think of is like pulling or squeezing. Now, we don't want to be squeezing our back in ballet class. We don't want this posture of squeezing our back, but it can help us get some blood flowing back there. So hold your hands just outside your body like you have a big ball you're holding back there, and try to squeeze your shoulders together. This can be a nice way, I'll show you from the back as well, to just sort of get some blood flowing back there, get some motion, and feel those upper back muscles starting to squeeze. You can also interlace the fingers and really pull the shoulders back to each other so that you can feel those upper back muscles starting to get some heat in them. So you want to think about pulling your shoulders back and together. That'll also help open your chest for those of us who sit at the computer or text or Instagram or watch YouTube all day. Yeah, so we really get tight shoulders. So this can also help open that up. The more you strengthen that upper back, the more it can pull it open. So that's upper back. For core, I like to think about anything along the lines of plank. I don't like to think about crunches or sit-ups personally because I feel like in ballet class, more of what we need is stability and the ability to hold it for a long time and not necessarily the motion of crunches. So I don't like to do crunches personally. I don't feel like they warm up the real deep ab muscles. Super simple, most simple is just to simply stand with your abs engaged. I know this kind of sounds goofy, but it can actually be a really good exercise to just work on your ballet posture while you're getting those muscles warmed up. So you can work on just standing with your belly button pulled into your spine, keep everything lifted, ribs closed, perfect posture, and see how long you can sustain that for. Or you can do things like planks. You can do plank all the way from your hands and feet. You can go down to your forearms. You can see what you like, what feels good on your shoulders. Or you can do what I like, the modified plank, which is a favorite from my chiropractor at Highland Sport and Spine. We have a video of how all this works on our YouTube channel as well. This modified plank we call the bear. It's just shoulders under, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and then you pick your toes up, really pulling the belly button and spine. Don't let the back curve. Try to keep it tight. So what all of those moves have in common is that we're trying to keep all of this tight in the body. If that feels easy, you can add movement like the limbs, but just for simplicity, trying to feel this region of the body tight and secure. So far we've got upper back, we've got core, now we're going for turnout muscles. So turnout muscles, backs of the legs and inner thighs. Favorite kinds of things, simplest is while you're standing to kind of feel the legs start to rotate. Super gentle, feeling like you're trying to rotate your femur bones in the hip socket. Could even be standing in first, feeling your legs rotate out, feeling the backs of the legs starting to engage. If that's hard though, easiest stuff on the floor, feeling clamshells or straight leg rises. So clamshells, we've got the top leg lifting, straight leg rises. We're thinking about anything that's going to be working this top hip and causing that to do work. Or inner thigh even, you can think about squeezing the legs together to work that inner thigh. So any of those motions that really help you get the legs and the hips firing. So remember so far we've got upper back squeezing together. We've got core, holding the core still in any context, whether that's on the floor or standing up. We've got rotation, turnout muscles, so anywhere you can that you can try to get the femur bones opening or the legs lifting away from each other. Last thing is ankles. You're always welcome to do TheraBand work, but if you don't have any equipment, you can still do plenty of stuff without that. You can write the alphabet with your ankles. That sounds, again, really silly, but it just helps get the ankle joint warmed up and helps you develop the detail in your foot. And you can do simple releves. I recommend while warming up doing releves in parallel so you can check on your alignment and see what's going on, especially if you haven't warmed up your rotation muscles yet. You want to make sure that everything's nice and stacked up. So you might even want to try releves in parallel warming up. So let's review why we warm up, how we do it, and what are some basic pieces of it. So first of all, take inventory with your body. Check in, see what's going on. Any injuries, anything feel particularly tight, particularly weak, anything that you're feeling strange about, just check in, and that can help inform what you need to do to warm up. Because you might need to warm up a specific area a little extra, do a little extra strengthening to give something some extra love. Then elevate your body temperature. Lift the temperature of your body by doing big movements, big slow movements that use big muscles to get the blood starting to flow through your body. Using big quad actions, using big back actions or push-ups, those can really help get the blood moving to actually elevate your body temperature. And then lastly, thinking about ballet specific exercises, 4 parts: upper back, core, turnout muscles, ankles, and feet. Yeah, so those are the 4 big areas that are generally ballet specific that I like to think about warming up for class. Upper back squeezing, core stabilizing, turnout muscles opening, and ankles circling or rising in parallel. I hope that this helps you figure out how to warm your body up and start to understand what a warm up even is, why we do it, and how your own. Until next time, dancers, make sure you like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Take care.